Hello out there. Welcome to the No Shit Cast. I'm your host, Matt Frazier. We've got a fun old show lined up for us again tonight, folks. Big old stack of articles and things for Mr. Smith and I to go through. Sitting in a co-pilot seat as usual, none other than the great wizard of historical knowledge himself, Mr. Eric D. Smith. How are you tonight, Mr. Smith?
Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Never die, huh?
Never die.
Are you talking about the intro music, man? Is that getting you?
No, I was just
possessed or something.
You know, all hand signs and
whatever it is, huh? You make the bunny rabbit with the rabbit ears and all that, like shadow puppets. Mr. Devlin, our Bond villain, won't be joining us tonight. He's actually vacationing in Boston. So he's not here, so he won't be on the show tonight. So hi, Devlin. You didn't think we could do it without you, did you?
Rock and roll, Devlin.
He doesn't. He knows. Anyway, I don't have a show question lined up. Did you have one lined up?
Oh my gosh, I no.
I didn't set one up at all.
I didn't even think about it, man.
Okay, here's one. Okay, like if you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be and why? How would that work, huh?
Yeah.
As you can see, Mr. Devlin's not here, so we're not organized. I have the mouse and keyboard tonight, so I'm going to be driving while we're trying to do this, so this should be interesting.
Well, I could try to think of a question.
Yeah, you sure could. I can't think if we have any shout-outs.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely shout-outs to people.
Really? What you got?
Hi, Reed. Hi, Cassie.
Same.
Hi, guys. And other people, too. And Lisa and Dan W., perhaps, maybe. Yeah. Maybe Christian. I don't know.
Mike Barnett's been on fire lately, man, putting stuff on the No Shit Cast official Facebook group.
People we don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, people.
That don't talk or don't say anything.
I don't know. So
I know that the big news, some of the big news, like for Anthony Hamilane and his group, his new group there, Crystal Tears, they just finished a tour of the Philippines, so that's pretty fucking cool. So we got to see that sort of as it was unfolding.
It looked like a blast. Too,
yeah,
man.
They did. It looks like they had a great time. And they went over there. They got like a beer named after him or something.
That's great.
Too. So I told him, I was like, I want to try this beer, man. Like, we're gonna have to have it on the show, and when he comes back, come talk to us about it. So I'm really looking forward to having him, get back here in the U.S. and States, and then having him come in and sit in on the show and kind of fill us in on how everything went over there. It's it's going to be fascinating because, like you said, the pictures and things that were coming were looked like they were having a blast.
Yeah, it really did, man. I mean, like everything from the concert picture to like what looked like the hanging out afterward pictures.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They all looked equally awesome and cool.
Looked like he was teaching or showing jiu-jitsu to somebody, Brazilian jiu-jitsu to someone, and they were like, getting like he was showing them how to do a rear naked choke, and I said, "Don't. It's a trap. Don't do it. He's going to choke you with your own arm." I know, because he's done it to me fucking many times. Mm-hmm. It's like, you think you got something, you don't. Just think you do. And then afterwards, he's like, "Good job. You're getting better." It's like, thanks. So, anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. So did other people. But anyway, so congrats to Crystal Tears and congrats to Anthony, and looking forward to having him back on the show. And so big shout out to them in that group as well. Good stuff. Yeah. So have you come up with a question yet?
Nope. No, I don't. I might in the middle of the show, but
yeah. Well, let's just go with it, man. And see what the hell happens, right? So, okay. So moving along here to the articles. What do we have up first? Oh, this is kind of cool because it sort of fits in my wheelhouse. My profession sort of has something to do with this. But this actually comes from the Wall Street Journal. It says American factories demand white-collar education for blue-collar work. So We've talked about this quite a bit. Oh, look, they're not going to let me look at it. You dirty dogs. I have to sign in.
You dirty dogs.
To read the full story. Well, it was worth a try. For some reason, I think I could read this on my phone.
Here, let me go to the sign in, and I'll see if my old one still works.
You had to sign in for the Wall Street Journal?
I used to. I don't know if I still do.
You kidding?
No.
Well, we don't want it to show up on the screen, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, so I tell you what, we're going to can that. It's too bad because I thought that was going to be a fun article to talk about. So next up is everybody listens to the show know that you and I both sort of have a love for Frank Herbert's Dune. Yeah. Both the books and I like the current movie iteration, the current existing movie.
Yeah, me too. And it's not terrible. I mean, I know it's not true to the books. And there's weird shit that David Lynch just made up that's actually not in the books at all. But it was still an interesting movie.
For example?
Like the cat milking situation where they had the guy who was poisoned and he had to milk a cat and like there was like a rat taped to the cat or something weird like that.
Yeah, there was all that bizarre stuff with the pulling the plug out of that dude's chest and all that
I don't believe any of that was in the actual books. Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been so long ago since I read Dune and then saw the movie. So I've seen the movie so many times. I think it's sort of polluted the book memory. Yeah. Although like them suits that they fought in,
stilt suits.
Yeah, that was a legit thing. But in the book, I think modern special effects could probably do it a lot better.
Yeah,
it'd be neat to see that. Obviously, modern CGI and stuff could do that a lot better.
Sure. Yeah, and I have not actually read the book Dune, but I have read the first 5 in the chronology, which are by his son and the other guy whose name I can't remember. But he used to write a lot of Star Wars book in the expanded Star Wars universe.
Oh, is it?
I don't even know if I heard it.
If you heard it, okay.
Yeah.
The Star Wars. Okay, so this says Oscar Isaac is from IndieWire. Oscar Isaac says Denis Villanova's vision for Dune is nightmarish and brutalist. I think if it was done right, it probably would be right.
Probably. And by brutalist, did he say is it brutalistic or
brutalist? Okay,
brutalist, like as in the architectural design from the German.
I'm guessing, yeah,
because that's what Total Recall was done up in that fashion. The outside of the buildings and all that had that aspect to it. So I wonder if it's that kind of a thing.
So it says the Star Wars actor is starring as the father of Timothée Chalamet's character in the 2020 science fiction tentpole. I don't even know what the hell that means.
I was looking at tentpole earlier. Yeah, it's supposed to be. Dune is supposed to be one of the main science fiction stories that set the standard for the genre. That a lot of people say that there wouldn't be like a Star Wars without Dune. There wouldn't be all these things.
Well, can you give an example of what another one of these would be?
Another tentpole?
Yeah.
Probably something like Blade Runner.
Oh, really?
Some of the Philip K. Dick things would probably fall into that category. Asimov would probably with the Foundation trilogy.
So this is kind of original source sort of feel type stuff. Is what they're kind of getting at. Like these were genre-defining type of things. That sort of like Led Zeppelin was for certain types of rock and roll, and so was Black Sabbath, and the new wave of British heavy metal. It was all these were real defining things. So.
Yeah, I would say yes.
So Oscar Isaac is returning to the big screen this Christmas as Poe Dameron in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, but it's the actor's next Christmas tentpole that reporters can't stop talking about. Isaac is starring as Duke Leto Atreides in Denis Villanova's Dune. Isaac's character is the father of the film protagonist, Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet. Chalamet?
Probably Chalamet.
Isaac is currently on his Star Wars press tour, but took a moment while talking with Collider to tease Villanova's grand vision for his Dune adaptation. So they must be in post-production at this point, right? Because that's coming out like next year. So I bet they're done filming pretty much all principal photography. He says, quote, "I couldn't imagine anyone more suited for the tone of the original Frank Herbert novels than Dennis," Isaac said. "There are some things that are, for lack of a better word, nightmarish about what you see. There's just this kind of brutalist element to it. It's shocking, it's scary, it's very visceral. And I know that definitely between Dennis and myself and Chalamet and Rebecca Ferguson as the family unit, we really search for the emotion of it. I'm beyond myself with excitement. I think it's good to feel cool. It's going to feel cool, unique, and special." So I'm getting even more excited about this. Have you seen any, like, is there any
I've seen some, like, posters and art and stuff like that. There's a Dune Facebook page.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it for, like, quite a while.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it's pretty cool, man. It looks like it's going to be a good deal.
Yeah.
You know?
You think this is going to end up being kind of like what the Lord of the Rings movies were to the Tolkien novels?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of anybody, I've never really heard anyone say, yeah, they ruined it, man. Like, they ruined Tolkien's vision. I've never really heard anybody say that.
I have heard some people say that, but I mean, I think there's always going to be those people, right? I mean, even those movies and the extended versions of them weren't true to
No, they
the
added
books.
like battles and characters and all kinds of shit.
And then that always upsets the people.
And there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah.
No,
it just is what it is.
I mean, I get it too. I mean, if you spent a good portion of your entertainment time reading a particular novel, living in a particular world, and all of this effort was poured into movies about it, and all the details were there and everything, and then they just weren't true to the source material, it'd probably irk you. I mean, I'm going to get a good taste of that here soon. They're talking about making an Elric television series, kind of like Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And of course, that's a book I've read many times, and since I was a young man of 13 or 14. And
well, they're really saying they're going to use that world, right? More than, are they going to actually use the specific characters?
They're going to use the specific story and characters, and
that's sort of beloved, is it not?
By certain sword and sorcery genre
fans,
yeah. And you know. Michael Moorcock, I think he just turned 80, I believe. So he's still around and stuff, and that would be good to have it made while he was still around, I think.
Yeah, so he could see it.
Well, that, and so that he might have some influence on it too, you know.
Right, sure.
The biggest holdback in the past is they've thought about making movies about it, but they would always either, if they were going to stay true to the source material, it was going to be X-rated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah.
Or it's not going to stay true to the source material. Yeah, it's going to lose some stuff.
You said it's going to go to what, like HBO or something?
Something like that. Yeah, one of those people. I don't know who, Hulu, Amazon.
I guess
Prime.
technically, if it goes to something like Amazon or Netflix,
yeah,
I think they can kind of do whatever they want.
They can, yeah, and so that's probably the best hope for it.
Because they're 100% subscriber based, right? You have to pay to even view anything and have a login and this kind of thing.
They can only stand to gain or lose subscribers, but they can't get in any real trouble.
Right. It's going to be interesting because they do a lot more. They're doing a lot more risque and type stuff. Risque, you know, whatever the hell that means. But you get my point. Like compared to somebody like an HBO or Showtime, they can do a lot more. Mm-hmm. But HBO did some pretty shocking shit with Game of Thrones, man.
They did that with that and with Rome and Stars with...
Rome. That was really good, too. But, boy, it was... You want to talk about brutalist.
Yeah, and Stars had Spartacus.
Right, which I don't think I watched.
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow. It says, David Dasmalchian, a frequent collaborator of Villanova's who starred in Prisoners and Blade Runner 2049, previously championed the film for hewing more closely to Herbert's novel than David Lynch's 1984 film adaptation. That dude again told Cinema Blend in June that the, quote, the old phrase, true to the spirit of, or honoring the spirit of, applies to Villanova's Dune. The way Dennis has talked about the film and what I've seen, it's absolutely true, too, and in honor of everything that Frank put into the novel. Dasmalchian added at the time, Dennis is just so fearless, man. He makes choices and then goes into the places that we need right now as audiences.
Yep.
So it's this looks and has the appearance like it's going to be really, really damn good.
I think it will be.
A lot of buzz about this.
Yeah, I've heard all good stuff.
And from people I didn't expect to even be concerned about a sci-fi sort of world thing, but yeah, it's kind of strange, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you're kind of right. You know, he is that whole series was sort of that tentpole was sort of propped up of genre.
And it also appeals to ecologists and people from that time and place that it was written, you know, the 60s era and stuff like that. There's a lot of
like feel that reference in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of memory and nostalgia that from people that's, was reading those books at that time when they were young and stuff. So there's quite a few vectors that people come at this show from. Yeah,
because it's got like it's straight up sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
It's also got very Machiavellian sort of undertones and governmental sort of interplay and espionage and that kind of thing going on. It's got this whole messianic thing happening throughout the whole theme of it. You've got all of these like things like addiction and chemical use. And
originally the ecologist was the protagonist.
What do you mean?
When Frank first wrote the story, the Dr. Kynes, the botanist that came in to the planet Dune, that guy, he was like the hero, the protagonist of the story.
Okay.
Originally, then they changed it to Paul Atreides.
Oh, okay. I'm not remembering him either, and I don't know. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna have to get that book on like tape or something and do it again. I mean, it was thick. I read all of the first one. I know I did. And I remember because it had a dictionary in the back of it with actually and maps and different stuff in it, so you could kind of get a frame of reference for what they were talking about because they just used this language. He used a lot of words.
The first 5 that I read was unabridged audiobooks.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't technically read them, but they were unabridged audiobooks. And the cool thing was learning the pronunciation of certain words that I had learned from watching the David Lynch film.
Turns out that they were
a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of like Harkonnen, it's Harkonnen.
Harkonnen, yep. Yeah, you told me about that.
That's right. It was weird. Because they actually had interviews at the end of the audiobooks with the guys and stuff, and they had come across source material and tapes of their dad reading, or his dad reading from his work. So that's how they got some of the pronunciation of the names and stuff. So
I remember in the books that his little sister was far more prevalent and than she was in David Lynch's adaptation of the book, right?
Yeah.
Like she was like a full-blown badass in that at like the age of 2 or something, and so she was sort of there, but it was really kind of felt hokey the way they incorporated her into the end of the movie and stuff. That he had this crazy. What was it? The whatever witch, little sister,
Ben
Jesuit. No,
a Jesuit.
Yep. They had that box.
Yeah, the pain box.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff, man. Yeah, but everything, even that. But they did a lot of good stuff too, like the scene with where the assassin tried to kill him with that.
Dart.
And then that mechanized thing that he fought. That's in there with the suits. That's in the Dune book if I remember right, but it was a much bigger sort of thing. Than it kind of ended up being in what they could do with special effects back then.
84, man. It seems like a long time ago.
but here I am telling all this like shit, but I'm like, but I really still liked it.
Yeah,
I did.
It's not bad.
I enjoyed it.
I've got the extended version.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I have it. Yeah,
it's
like a digital file somewhere.
Yeah,
it's crazy good, man.
Watch it if you haven't.
Boy, it's a long watch.
Watch it. Watch the new movie.
Oh, definitely, man. We're gonna go watch it and then come back and talk about it on the show. What's this? This is from Futurism. Newly discovered blinking space lights could be signs of aliens. Here we go. Futurism with big words.
Yeah, big giant could.
I like that. They should underline that.
All right, are you guys ready? This could be it, man. We might have aliens.
With rare exception, stars die in one of two ways. They either slowly transition into white dwarfs or they quickly explode as a supernova.
Crystals or fireworks?
Okay, well, right. You're talking about the physics, not like, hey, man, crystals or fireworks, man.
Yeah, right. Physics. Yeah.
But some stars, hey, man, I don't know where'd that come from. But some stars appear to temporarily die without a whimper or a bang. They just disappear from the night sky and then appear again later. And the scientists behind the newly published study believe that this strange phenomenon could have one of two explanations. We are either witnessing something brand new in astrophysics or seeing signs of alien activity. Okay, which do you feel is more likely to be true?
Well, we see new signs of astrophysics happening all the time, so I'm going to go with the something new that we have not seen in astrophysics.
Okay, that's your final answer?
That is my final answer.
All right, we'll see if you win the prize. Stay tuned. On Thursday, the scientists involved in the, quote, vanishing and appearing sources during a century of observations, a VASCO project. Thank God they put that into a shortened,
Yeah, Vasco's better.
Way easier.
Yeah, easier for sure. I don't know about better, but
more gooder. Project published their first study in the Astronomical Journal of prestigious and peer-reviewed publication. It details their hunt for objects that appeared in the surveys of the night sky dating back as far as the 1950s, but that no longer appear in modern surveys. Look for the missing data, huh? The hunt turned up 100 red objects that have blinked in and out of existence over the past 70 years.
Okay.
You're gonna lose the prize. You want to change your answer, or you still say? I'm going to give you a chance to change your answer right here.
I'm still going to go with we haven't seen it.
For $500,
you
can change your answer. Okay. Study co-author Martin Lopez Corredoria noted in a press release that the Vasco team has not found any direct evidence linking the lights to extraterrestrial intelligence.
I win!
But the study's abstract implies that the authors aren't ruling out the possibility either.
But it could be. I mean, keep sending money because it could be like actually aliens and stuff. I mean, we're pretty sure it's not, but it could be. So don't cut off that funding. We might
do you
be
think
the
that's
ones that
what,
find
or
it.
do you think they're just...
I think, yeah, man. I think that they always leave that open because it keeps interest. It keeps public interest. I mean, I don't know if these guys are being funded or not. If they're not, it's keeping public interest involved in what they're doing a little bit. If they're being funded, it's at least having a steady line to funding where, like, well, it could be, we might any day discover life. So this could be life, I don't know. It just never turns out to be that way.
Well, I don't think that a true scientist ever rules out the possibility of anything, right? Isn't that part of sort of the critical mind, the critical search?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
because unless you have irrefutable evidence that it's not intelligent alien life, or it's not, you don't have any evidence at all.
No,
so
I
can't say it's specifically not one thing or anything until you have that evidence.
Sure, I agree with that, but they also don't go around constantly saying that it could be the tooth fairy as well, which is.
But they couldn't prove that it's not
exactly
now.
My point, right?
So they wouldn't say that.
No,
they would say, well, I'm pretty sure it's not, but
it could be.
But that's not a no.
No.
You know what I mean?
I know, right.
That's not a
no.
no.
But it's always like life instead of something like the tooth fairy, because life on other planets is the thing that really people want to find and know, I mean, it may be just as likely as the tooth fairy, and it may not be able to be excluded if you're going to keep an open mind.
Correct.
But it's funny that they always hover right back around to, well, it could be life.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, but it could be anything. It could be flying monkeys. We don't know what.
Yeah, from Oz. The Oz sphere.
Yeah. Until you can find the highly repeatable, definable, predictable thing, it can, Anyway, we're beating this to death.
Come on,
right?
aliens.
Quote, the implications of finding vanishing and appearing sources extend from traditional astrophysics fields to the more exotic searches for evidence of technologically advanced civilizations, they wrote. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is the big words giveth and little words taketh away. Although I wouldn't say that this makes me want to say boo futurism.
No,
this one wasn't too bad.
The big word was could.
They did at least. I really feel proud of them for they told us up front there might be some woo going on.
Would have been better if it was exactly like that.
Could.
With the highlighted word could.
Or like maybe hyphenated or something somehow.
Yeah.
But
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it could be some improvement.
We're going to need to talk. Yeah, just give us a call, Futurism. We'll set you straight. They're like, who are these assholes?
That's right.
This one comes from whom? Physics.org. In surprise breakthrough, scientists create quantum states in everyday electronics. Well, that is a... Well,
so how does Moore's law work? Well, sometimes it just happens by accident. and boom, there you go.
And there you go. And cool. Look what we did.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yay, Moore's law. Just happens. If we don't do it, it'll just bloom.
After decades of miniaturization, the electronic components we've relied on for computers and modern technologies are now starting to reach fundamental limits. Faced with this challenge, engineers and scientists around the world are turning toward a radically new paradigm, quantum information technologies.
Qubits. Tasty whiz.
It's tasty stuff. Like this is big game changing type shit.
Qubit crunch.
Quantum technology, which harness the strange rules that govern particles at the atomic level, is normally thought of as much too delicate to coexist with the electronics we use every day in phones, laptops, and cars. However, here's a word like in the other one could. This one should be. However, scientists with the University of Chicago's Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering announced a significant breakthrough. Quantum states can be integrated and controlled in commonly used electronic devices made from silicon carbide.
Like a coffee pot, for instance. Is it hot? Is it cold?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You don't know until you pour the cup.
My mind went to, what the fuck do you want a quantum coffee pot for, Eric? Like, what does that buy you?
I don't know. It's a common electronic thing.
I was so looking forward to being blown away by...
Better coffee, right? Quantum coffee.
That's going to be the new, it used to be hi-fi.
There's a tag for you, quantum coffee.
And it was high def. Now it's going to be quantum. Everything's going to be fucking quantum.
Right. Quantum pizza, pepperoni.
Quote, the ability to create and control high-performance quantum bits in commercial electronics was a surprise, said lead investigator David Al-Shalom, the Liu family professor in molecular engineering at University of Chicago and a pioneer in quantum technology. These discoveries have changed the way we think about developing quantum technologies. Perhaps we can find a way to use today's electronics to build quantum devices.
Like coffee pots.
Just let the coffee pot go already. And two papers published in Science and Science Advances, Al-Shalom's group demonstrated they could electrically control quantum states embedded in silicon carbide. The breakthrough could offer a means to more easily design and build quantum electronics, in contrast to using exotic materials scientists usually need to use for quantum experiments, such as superconducting metals, levitated atoms, or diamonds. Yeah, that's true. That's like liquid helium type shit. They're always talking about superconductivity and supercomputers. So if you can do this like at room temperature, then that's a big freaking deal. And quantum computers give us ridiculous type leaps, 10,000 times leaps in computing capability. If I remember right. Didn't we talk about this? It was something like on the magnitude of holy fuck and go shit yourself.
Thousands
like it was
of times
ridiculous.
better it will brew coffee.
It's the coffee maker again.
Coffee is better.
Do you have like a spiritual connection with
I just wanted some coffee, but I thought, I got to get up early, and it's not the night for coffee.
It's not the night for
tomorrow night.
Yeah, definitely.
Which would be Friday. So
I finally get some time off here. Well, I got some work from home stuff I got to do, but
it's still going to seem like time off from me.
It's going to be nice not
you don't have
traveling.
to drive out of state to do the work
for a while. Yeah,
you just go into another room.
Da, 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 da. These quantum states in silicon carbide have the added benefit of emitting single particles of light with a wavelength near the telecommunications band.
Well, that's nice.
Well, this quote, this makes them well suited to long distance transmission through the same fiber optic network that could already transports 90% of all international data worldwide. Said Shalom. Moreover, the light particles can gain exciting new properties. I like exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And new.
Oh, yeah.
And properties.
Ooh.
When combined with existing electronics, for example, in the Science Advances paper, the team was able to create what Al Shalom called a, quote, quantum FM radio. And who does not want that for Christmas?
I want quantum music.
In the same way that music is transmitted to your car radio, quantum information can be sent over extremely long distances.
Wow.
Well, this is the Dick Tracy watch communicator that we've all talked about, right?
Yeah.
Quote, all the theory suggests that in order to achieve good quantum control in a material, it should be pure and free of fluctuating fields, said graduate student Kevin Meow. First author on the paper, quote, our results suggest with proper design, a device can not only mitigate those impurities, but also create additional forms of control that previously were not possible.
Yeah. Through magnetism, no doubt.
You know, I heard Steve Jobs say this one time that the breakthroughs of the future, I'm going to paraphrase this, but it was something to the effect like the breakthroughs of the future are not going to be like things that are created that never existed before. It's going to be people that take existing technologies and use them together in new ways.
Yeah.
And like by pairing up this technology and that technology to create some sort of solution that never previously existed, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of a funny way of a prophecy of his sort of coming true, in that what they're talking about is using the existing technologies we have in an incredibly, mind-bogglingly more efficient way.
Yeah, to do simple things like improve radio, which we've had around for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Maybe they can improve FM synthesis too.
What would that be?
I'm not sure what that would be on the quantums. I don't know. This is one of these things that, it seems like it has a lot of applications, and this is the first I've heard of it. So I haven't had much experience with what they've done, and they're not being real specific about it.
Well, it says, quote, this work brings us one step closer to the realization of systems capable of storing and distributing quantum information across the world's fiber optic networks. Such quantum networks would bring about a novel class of technologies allowing for the creation of unhackable communication channels, the teleportation of single electron states, and the realization of a quantum internet. I think the single electron states, isn't that like a weird precursor to teleportation?
Electrons.
Oh, no, that would be like a photon or something different.
Yeah,
No,
I think by electron
that's
states
not
they're
actually
talking
matter.
about spin, the spin up, spin down of electron around the nucleus of an atom. I think is what they're talking about.
Well, and certainly unhackable communications channels.
Yeah. Well, normally you don't know where that's at, where the electron is at. You can only give an idea of where it's at, but if they're talking about being able to know, because you're actually producing that spin purposely.
Right. I thought it was kind of funny that quantum is going to be the thing. It's going, well, not funny. It's kind of sad, but remember we talked about quantum radar?
Yeah.
And it just sort of renders all stealth technologies completely moot.
Yeah.
It's like the early days of radar again, where you had no way of jamming it, stopping it.
Is that what that UFO used on those planes?
I don't know. Maybe. Well, it was Commander Fravor said that device was actively jamming them. Like it knew how
like quantum?
They were. Well, I don't know. I think it was doing it within the standard like radar radio wave frequencies that aircraft uses.
That's even weirder.
Yeah, you had said it, man. It seemed very specific.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's so
oddly specific. Yeah. So and I think you're right. I think there's a lot more connection there than what we know.
Got to be something.
And although it is an unidentified flying object, that's all we know about it. We know nothing else about it.
At least we have those things.
And yeah, it is oddly specific, though. Anyway, moving on. Oh, this is a topic for our show.
I think the Romans would be pleased with this.
This is from Nerdist. Thousands of penis fish found on California coast. Sorry, California beach. Read the
Oh
words
my
that are
God!
there.
There's a picture of a penis fish.
Well, we got to be marked explicit now, Mr. Smith. Warning. There's a strong likelihood that you will find the mere existence of Uricus capo, a.k.a. the penis fish, to be disturbing, and watching these things move is just so unfortunate. Please be advised. Sounds like a topic for our show, doesn't it?
Yeah, forge forward.
Charging on for the sake of you fans.
Let's see what these penis fishes are about.
I would never read this for myself. I just want everybody to know,
No shit, man. There's some shit.
We've all seen our fair share of deep-sea horrors that haunt the bottom of the ocean and Jaws-esque movies featuring gigantic human-gulping sharks, but nothing, people, absolutely nothing, will ever prepare you for an eyeful of penis fish.
Ugh.
A fact that is especially unfortunate for one man in California who recently found thousands of them washed ashore, all laid out on the sand, pulsating in the worst possible way.
Woke up this morning, don't believe what I saw.
There's a tweet.
100 million penis fishes washed up on the shore.
Excuse me while I go throw up. This is from, there's a tweet from Bay Nature Magazine. I love that there's a Bay Nature Magazine. This may just be the weirdest
The cover's
thing.
just the sort of thing, right?
Yeah, Bay Nature, man.
This stuff washes up on the
Hey,
bay.
man, I work for Bay Nature, man.
It's nice to know when the penis fish washes up on the shore, there's an organization that's there to capture it and explain it.
I bet they wear sandals.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm stereotyping. I probably am.
Well, there's a reason why people stereotype, right?
Because it's accurate?
Well, yeah, because sometimes a bunch of people do fall into a category, right? Otherwise, that word wouldn't exist.
Yeah, a lot of times it's accurate.
Yeah, it could be occasionally. It's not always bad.
Thousands of these. Okay, so this may just be the weirdest thing you've seen today. Thousands of these marine worms called fat innkeeper worms or, quote, penis fish washed up on Drake's Beach after a recent storm.
Wait. Why the hell are they called fat innkeeper worms? Like at the local tavern inn, the innkeeper.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing. Maybe they used to stick a stick through them and boil them, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Mead, bring me my mead and innkeeper worm winch.
Fat innkeeper worms. You got any fat innkeeper worms for sale? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look at this beach. This is
that's unfortunate.
That is yikes. Anyway, that's gonna smell really bad. Not that it. Anyway, the New York Post picked up on this. So not so safe for work at all story, originally reported by Ivan Parr in his, quote, Ask the Naturalist column in Bay Nature Magazine, man. According to Parr's article, a man by the name of David Ford discovered the multitude of penis fish on Drake's Beach in Marin County on December 6th. It's unclear what Ford was doing on the beach, vomiting probably, but because I know, man, that's got to reek. I know when any fish roll up on the beach like that, it's awful.
And those don't look like they smell any better, do they?
This is like a biblical plague level kind of flies and all kinds of stuff, right?
Is there anything in the Bible, honey, about God sending penis fishes? Because a bunch of them just came up on shore, so we need to make sure.
What does it mean?
Yeah,
man?
does it say anything?
Spin your crystal. But somehow he came upon the penis fish strewn across the sand like so many long, plump sausages. This is actually an apt description considering the fact Ford also saw hundreds of seagulls feasting on the penis fish flesh.
Wow. Seagulls are like, yeah.
Oh my God, man.
It's raining penis fish.
Man. In terms of what these things actually are, aside from crimes against nature and our eyeballs, true, That's best described by the other far less disgusting yet still pretty disgusting nickname, fat innkeeper worms, which you're sort of picking up on.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to find out that people were just like chowing down on these things, and I'm feeling that's where it's heading.
Yeah, like they just eat them.
I don't know, man. Why do they call them fat innkeeper worms? On a bun.
Just as Uricus Quapo earned the nickname of penis fish thanks to its appearance, it's known as a fat innkeeper worm because it behaves much like an innkeeper. And a benevolent one at that. Huh?
Benevolent. I'm still lost.
How does it... Okay. This comparison to an innkeeper is drawn because of the way the fat innkeeper worm / penis fish feeds itself, which is a process that's both putrid and inadvertently selfless. Essentially, a penis fish feeds itself by digging a U-shaped hole in the ocean floor and then setting up a mucus net at one end of the hole that it uses to trap food particles and other detritus. Yum, yum.
Innkeepers did this?
I still don't know what what are you talking about? Once it's captured, whatever food particles it can from the water, the penis fish retracts its mucus net from whence it came. Its elongated sucking proboscis, anyway, and consumes the particles for their nutrients. Larger food particles that the penis fish is unable to consume are left behind, however, and are eaten as freebie snacks by other ocean dwellers like pea crabs, shrimps, and scale worms.
I still don't understand what
this
got to do with an innkeeper.
Something about poo pellets. I don't know. Or moving to Mars. I don't know. Yep. I think we can move on from this. I don't know where. Now we're talking about Baby Yoda.
Question of the day. Would you eat a boiled penis fish boiled in its own mucus
net?
Yeah, or go to Mars.
U-shaped mucus net, or go to, if you had to, or go to Mars.
Right, yeah. Right. Which would you choose? I don't know, man.
This says, and we've talked about this a lot, and we always try to do both sides of an argument.
Oh,
when
yeah.
new data comes out. So, again, from Futurism, let's see if they use the word could. Researcher warns that 5G might actually cause. There it is. Oh.
They didn't went with could this time. They instead mighted it.
But at least they're doing that now instead of saying 5G causes cancer. And then you get down into the story and it's like, well, meanwhile, we're seeing increases, might actually cause cancer after all. Meanwhile, we're seeing increases in certain types of head and neck tumors. As 5G cellular network tech looms, conventional wisdom dictates that cell phone radiation is more or less safe for humans.
Who is putting a phone up to their head? It doesn't happen that often. Most people have it down, like watching it or texting, and every so often, right? Up to their head. But it's not like it's a normal phone like back in the 80s where it was always up to your head. I mean, like, who are these people getting tumors? Why aren't they getting tumors in their hand? It
was funny because one of the distributorships that I did work for a couple of years, there was me and one outside sales guy, and in the branch, we were the number 1 and number 2 cell phone minutes user. This is back when, cell phones were really kind of a luxury. And we had by far, I mean, not even by like a little bit, he and I were number 1 and 2. And then like the whole rest of the office combined didn't match our numbers. And the branch manager asked one time, he was going through it and he gives, what are you guys fucking calling each other? A lot, yeah, actually. They couldn't do anything to us because we got a lot of shit done. But it was funny. I used to laugh about that because it was like, I always had a cell phone stuck on my head for years and years, man, especially in sales, because I did sales and technical support. So if I wasn't selling shit, I was helping somebody fix something. So I was always on the phone, one side of the coin or the other. So it's any wonder my brain works at all.
Hey, while you guys are watching us, make sure you're at least 4 feet away from your phone.
Yeah. I can't see it. But writing for the widely respected magazine Scientific American, University of California, Berkeley, public health researcher Joel Moskowitz argues that we don't yet understand the risks, and more study is yet necessary before we roll out 5G infrastructure. Moskowitz's main concern. You like that name, Moskowitz?
I don't think that's actually what it says. But
no, it says M-O-S-K, not M-O-U-S-K.
Moskowitz.
His main concern, there just isn't any research on the health effects of 5G. But he also points to the swath of studies that suggest that the existing standards 2G and 3G are more dangerous than generally believed.
Oh, God.
Quote, meanwhile, we are seeing increases in certain types of head and neck tumors in tumor registries, which may be at least partially attributable to the proliferation of cell phone radiation. He wrote in Science American, the increases are consistent with results from case control studies of tumor risks in heavy cell phone users. It's hard enough to quantify the health effects of things that have already been deployed, never mind an upcoming technology. But in Scientific American, Moskowitz argues that regulators should listen to the 250 doctors and scientists who have recently signed the 5G appeal, a petition for moderation on public rollout of the tech until the health implications are better understood. Do you think that we should listen to scientists and doctors?
Yes.
I think that that's generally a good idea.
I do too.
And when you get 250 of them to start throwing up red flags, I think it's
slow down a little bit.
It's worth listening to what these guys got to
Take
say.
a look,
these folks have to
double
say.
check.
Let's really be sure.
Yeah, we might be using quantum communication anyway.
Anyway, so this may be unnecessary.
Yeah.
Quote, as a society, we should invest hundreds of billions of dollars in deploying 5G, a cellular technology that requires the installation of 800,000 or more new cell antenna sites in the U.S., close to where we live, work, and play, he asked.
Spread that cancer around.
Instead, we should support the recommendations of the 250 scientists and medical doctors who have signed the 5G appeal that calls for an immediate moratorium on the deployment of 5G and demand that our government fund the research needed to adopt biologically based exposure limits to protect our health and safety. I don't think that that's too much to ask.
No, it's the same same thing that the people that made CRISPR are asking.
Look, and I think this is one of them things where getting old really has, for me, has a huge influence on my decision to say that I think it's slowing down a little bit here and taking a look at this, because I've heard some other people throw up some red flares about this too. There's some issues with 5G.
Yeah, meteorologists.
We've done meteorologists, because it messes with weather radar too. But then they're out there blasting us with 5G, near 5G frequency type stuff, or at least in the harmonic, right? But anyway, I generally think that when a bunch of scientists and doctors get together and start calling for some an investigation or a look and get some experts and start to I think that that's absolutely, and almost without exception, let me rephrase that, without exception, I think it's always worth listening to professionals and going, oh, wait a minute, maybe these guys know what they're talking about. We should really take a look at this.
That's why we train them.
Yeah, God forbid. That's got to be frustrating, man, when you've got like all the data and then you come out and you like sort of go, Eureka! And then everyone goes,
no way, man. You're making that shit up because like, you got the agenda.
No, look, I've got all this data. No,
that's agenda data.
You're shill for the system, man.
Data can say anything.
It can. You can be interpreted any way you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can make data say whatever you want it to say. No, it's not. That's not how it works.
You can interpret it any way you want, but you can't make it. You can't make that data lie.
Did you come up with anything that would qualify as a possible show question tonight, by any chance?
No.
While we were talking, we talked about. Because we got our last article here, and it's one of the fun ones. So
for you, a question
for me.
Yeah,
what you got?
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
All right.
I hate to say that. It's not like I'm not a fan of Star Trek. Okay. Yeah. I really dig Roddenberry, his vision, good, bad, and the ugly about him, and everything that sort of goes with that.
Yep.
A lot of respect for it.
But what makes you like the Star Wars?
It's epic. And it really plays into like the hero archetypes and the different, big sweeping sort of saga like story, and it plays into spiritualism and with the Force and mysticism and all of it. And I love Star Trek because of I think Star Trek's probably more realistic. And you know what I mean? Like in so many ways, that was sort of the thing.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't touch me emotionally like the Star Wars saw it first. The first 3 released movies. Everything after that is kind of hit or miss. There's pieces of it I like and that kind of thing. But for sure, very definitely, I have no problem saying Star Wars.
People who make comments and have a dog in the race, Star Wars or Star Trek, and why?
Well, I think, yeah, it might, I got a little closer. All right. I think
it's new, be careful.
I know, right? Anybody even notices that. Have identical microphones. That you're going to be a Star Trek guy over Star Wars, right?
Yeah. I like the idea that Star Trek is people, humans, like us from Earth and America and all that, and all these other countries, and as opposed to somebody else, somewhere else, some other time, and they're not humans, and they look human, but they're not,
Right.
So I like that aspect. I like the aspect that it's the human condition that's being explored, the idea that these things would be things we might have to integrate into and deal with out in space, instead of it being that we are like when I watch Star Wars, everybody feels like an alien in the shows. Even the guys that look human are an alien to me, right? They've got strange powers and strange ways. But when I watch Star Trek,
Star Trek's way more relatable.
It's like this is us out in space with all this shit. It's not us, it's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it takes what we know to be the human condition and puts it into sort of this sci-fi.
I like those stories.
And Star Wars, that's a hero mythology.
Yes.
It's so unattainable by any, it's way beyond attainable because it's superhuman.
Yeah, and it's great. I definitely have watched every Star Wars movie and liked it, for the most part. I even liked the Phantom Menace and Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. I mean, a lot of people don't like the guy that did Anakin, but
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, but like I think I said her in another episode, that creeps me out more than anything.
Yeah.
Like General Tarkin's going to destroy your planet, but he's going to do it for a reason, because he's going to test this military weapon, and he's going to bring planets under his power and stuff, right? He's like lawful evil, but Vader's like chaotic evil, right? You could just piss him off or say the wrong thing, and he might just fucking choke you in front of everybody, even at a board meeting. Like, he don't fucking care, and he's just like a wild animal, like shit.
What did I just watch? It's called 6 Underground. It's on Netflix right now. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie, and I watched this, and it's the most off the hook action movie I've ever seen in my life. Gratuitously violent, gratuitously action packed, just nuts. Like every slow mo scene you can come up with, and I told my buddy, I said, it's like Michael Bay, if Michael Bay made Sharknado, that's what this is. I don't know if you've seen Sharknado or not.
I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
Sharknado is one of those movies that I refused to watch it because because I could just see from the advertisements how corny and bad it was. And then when I finally watched it,
same thing with Titanic and me.
Right. Well, I get it. I already know the end. But when I finally watched it, it dawned on me that all the actors know that this is complete shit, and it's to be overacted and treated like, that it's just a cliche sort of thing. So they went and made like these cult movies that are like, they get it. They knew, that's why they made it that way. So it's got a very Rocky Horror Picture Show sort of feel to it. Well, now Ryan Reynolds, they've made this crazy off the hook action film with stunts and car chases and shit that just goes. I mean, the movie just goes on and on and on. And then it's filled with all this funny shit too because it's got Ryan Reynolds in it. So that's. Anyway, I'm gushing, I guess.
No, it's good.
I have a huge man crush on Ryan Reynolds. He's so fucking dreamy. Oh my God.
No, this is just our review section, no shit about things that you might want to watch. Like, for instance, if you've got Netflix, check out Mars. Mars is a really good 2-season television show that's set in 2033, the first colony that's forming on Mars. And there's flashbacks to like 2016, 2017, and every time there's a flashback, it's an actual documentary that was released that year, and they're talking about one of the aspects or problems that have to be overcome if you're going to establish a colony on Mars, right? And then it goes to the actual TV series with the actors and stuff, like it seamlessly switches to that and shows them dealing with that shit.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so it really gives you this really good idea of what things might be.
So it's like a docudrama?
Except that it's not like the normal docudramas where the whole documentary is almost played out by these kind of B-grade actors.
Okay.
Like like the production value and the actors are really good. Like it's like a normal TV series. You don't feel like you're watching a documentary until they switch over, and it's weird. It's like it feels like it's two different things. Like
I always like those. You're right, like those nature documentaries, or where they go through like the history of mankind type thing. It's like a 29-part miniseries.
Yeah.
But they always have like these actors that play like early man, and they're like grunting at each other and all this kind of stuff. And it's like you got to wonder that actor or actress. I guess they're all actors now, right? It's the proper way to say it. But that actor's going, fuck yeah, man, heading for an Oscar here. I'm gonna,
and they've seen some,
or if they just sort of enjoy it for the craft and just do it for shits and giggles.
I watched a Civil War one where they would have these really bad scenes, battles. You could tell it was like low budget. There wasn't a lot of extras or nothing,
They'd use like the same 5-on-5 guys or something and scene over
and then they
scene.
would pull them to the side and they would be interviewing them in the documentary, and they would be talking, and they might be repeating something that was in someone's diary, for instance. And it was like history.
It was a cold winter, Mildred.
Yeah, exactly.
Half the men died and the other half lost their toes.
Yeah, and then just like on the side, and like talking. It just seemed really weird and fake. But it really is like you're following these characters along and what's happening. It's good. I recommend it.
That was Mars again.
Mars, just
highly
Mars.
recommended by Eric Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
gives it
for what that's worth.
What do you give it? Do you give it 5 out of 5 penis fish? Or
I give it 4.5 out of 5 penis fish. Not quite.
That's not going to become
penis fishes.
That will not become a thing on this show, by the way. I was just being facetious.
Facetious. That's a word you could get for Christmas.
We like facetious. You could get that word for Christmas.
I should get that.
This one comes from Nerdist. Sloped toilet seats aim to curb employee bathroom time.
I didn't know that was a problem.
All of these people that are out there shitting on the boss's dime, you're going to have to decide whether you want your legs to go numb or you want to get up.
Or, shit or get off the pot. Gosh,
literally. Let's see. It's nearly impossible to say how inventions will impact society, which is why a few people have predicted the rise of the ubiquitous technological triumvirate that is smartphones, wireless internet, and toilets. Mm-hmm. This combination and its alluring mix of relief and entertainment is nowhere more pronounced than in the workplace, where it sucks away employees' time like so much TP down a high-flow bowl. Oh, I love how they tied that together there. Do you? That's pretty neat. Yeah, very crafty. But now a new sloping toilet has been invented to make sitting on the commode far less comforting.
But now a new sloping toilet.
But wait, put your checkbook away. There's more. And its main aim is to reclaim lost productivity, albeit at the possible expense of already dwindling worker dignity. This comes from Dave Vesco. It's a tweet. It says, breaking news, say goodbye to comfort breaks. New downward tilting toilets are designed to become unbearable to sit on after 5 minutes. They say the main benefit is to employees in improved employee productivity. It's a benefit to employees to have to shit at a 13-degree downward angle. It's a benefit. And I mean, if anything's going to unite the workers of America or the world, right? In a recent Wired article via BBC News, Maheber Gill, the founder of the England-based company Standard Toilet, said that his company has created a toilet with a seat that slopes at a 13-degree angle, making it just uncomfortable enough to encourage sitters to vacate after about 5 minutes of use. Gill told Wired that there are many reasons a time-limiting toilet could be beneficial for people, but ultimately made no bones about it. The reason he and his team made this toilet is to cut down on the amount of time employees spend in the bathroom and therefore improve a given company's bottom line. Insert bottom line pun here for all of you who can't resist the urge.
Toilet experts have been called in to correct the problem.
Massive amounts of engineering dollars, number crunching, supercomputer, almost quantum level shit to determine that crapping at negative 13 degrees makes you want to hurry up and get your shit done and get off the pot.
It's just the right amount of sub-optimization.
I mean, fuck all these other problems that we got to solve in the world, right?
Let's make toilets more shitty.
Well, just to end up being the innovation that's going to be one of the weird things that ultimately kickstarts humanity into like the next era of existence or something. And we're going to look back and go, God, it was that 13-degree decline toilet seat.
Now nobody shits. It's amazing.
We just like created anyway. Quantum shitter. The sloping.
Introducing the quantum toilet.
The quantum shitter. Just push a button and it zaps your crap to the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
The sloping toilet works exactly as one would expect it to, essentially forcing its occupant into a mild crouch position.
Crouch position.
We're one step above now, like third world countries where they just hover over a hole in the floor. Slight crowd. This is just like an intermediary step between them and.
Some people are lucky to have toilets. We're designing less comfortable toilets.
It puts a low-level strain on a series of their muscles, including those in their thighs, hips, and calves. As time moves on, the position becomes less and less comfortable.
If you're in shape, though, it's not too bad.
Yeah, you just go and you're like, I'm getting a workout, baby. Yep. Feel the burn in them quads. Thrust.
That's the only place you want to feel the burn, isn't it?
Especially when you're doing that, right? Like, oh God,
you feel the burn, yes.
Taco Tuesday is coming back to haunt me.
Oh God.
Thusly compelling a user to finish their business and stand. Gill told Wired that the mildly uncomfortable position encourages workers to, quote, get off the seat quickly. You know, but you could just put electrical shock sensors or something in there.
After 5 minutes.
Right? You know what I mean? You have to at least pick your butt up off the seat, you know, for a period of time and before you can put it back down.
Now, I said that the Romans would have liked the penis fish, but the Romans would not like this.
No?
No.
Do tell. Why do you think they think this would be a bad idea?
Well, because they used to hang out on the toilets and talk politics, much like they did in the baths and stuff. And then
they had community shitters.
Yeah.
Like they could sit around the toilet and sort of chat.
Yeah, like they would have them about maybe this far
Reminds
apart.
Me of boot camp.
Right? And there would be like a whole bunch of them in a square. And they would go in there and they would sit and talk and take their dump, and then they would grab a stick with a sponge on the end of it that was set in vinegar, and they would clean their butt, and then they would leave.
The old vinegar stick sponge butt cleaning method, huh?
Well, they brushed their teeth with urine that was imported from like some Arabic place. I think Belgium, maybe, actually.
Really?
Belgium, yeah. Belgium was.
Well, they got the best teeth brushing urine, as I understand it. So.
Right. That's what they got the teeth very white.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it really did make their teeth white because they cleaned their clothes and urine, too, but it was local urine.
Oh, that's not the good stuff,
It's
though.
not-
You want
it's
that
not what you put in
imported.
your mouth.
You want that imported Belgian urine
In your mouth,
to
right?
brush
Yeah.
your fucking teeth with.
Anyhow,
Anyways, the sloping toilet works exactly as one would expect it to, Eric. Essentially,
it slopes.
it forces its occupant into a mild crouch position, which puts low. Oh, we already read this.
Yeah, but mild crouch, I like that. Mild, dude. Could you assume the mild crouch position? Like what? What? You mean stoop?
Like what? Stoop? Like
Like,
what?
what do you
Mild.
mean?
It's just a mild crouch. It's
dude.
simply no problem at all.
Yeah,
If,
no Rambo crouching, man.
You go in there and the floor's a little wet. You're shooting out from under the door.
Right?
Standard Toilet even claims that its sloping toilet generally improves the health and well-being of its users. It's so good for you.
In what sense? Exercise sense, like we were talking
I guess, yeah. Like you have to support yourself. It's like,
buddy system. Someone puts their foot in front of your feet to keep you from sliding.
right. They're going to have like grooves or like pedals or something.
Handles.
Hand grips, like ski slope stuff. The company's site notes that the slope design results in, quote, increased comfort through promoting the engagement of the upper leg muscles, including rectus femoris, vistus lateralis, vastus medialis, and lower leg muscles.
Right. And something in your stomach.
It also helps in reduction of musculoskeletal disorder. No scientific evidence for these claims is made. Immediately available on the site, although a quick Google search turns up this Queensland government article on, quote, pooping properly, which illustrates what it says is the ideal way to sit on a toilet. And no, it does not involve the kind of crouch induced by a sloped toilet. This is
knowing shit.
This is knowing shit. Yeah, this is the same kind of company, man, that makes those things that you put on the outside of buildings so like homeless people can't lay down. It's real painful if they do, and they're just like this weird Acme corporation
under bridges and shit.
Like, who needs you to think this up, dickhead? But I bet there's a market for it now that I think about it. Probably a huge one.
Giant corporate buildings full of toilets.
Yeah, it's going to be in all the Amazon distribution centers.
There's a soundbite. Giant corporate buildings filled with toilets.
Yes. Slope toilets. Don't forget the slope
toilets, yeah.
The immediate future looks bright for Standard Toilet, though, as its slope toilet has been approved by the British Toilet Association, or the BTA. Who knew that?
We approve of the sloping toilet.
I guess we needed that to exist.
Yeah.
And now retails with a price tag that ranges between roughly $200 and $650. As for how the slope toilet will be received by employees, signs point to, quote, poorly. Wah, wah, wah. No more sitting in the bathroom surfing Facebook for an hour on the clock.
With your...
You can't tell me I can't go to the bathroom. I have a condition.
It takes me 15 minutes to poop. At least.
At least.
Sometimes a good 33 minutes.
Assistant Jennifer Kaufman Bueller, an assistant professor of design history at Purdue University in Indiana, gave what seems like a more humanitarian argument in her comment on the slope toilet in the same Wired article, when she noted that, quote, in an office, the one space you have where you can find privacy is often the toilet. So God forbid that we want to make that one place where workers should have at least some anonymity, anonymity. I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The toilet, another place where people impose the very capitalistic idea that you should always be working.
Well, go in there and go in there and poop, and then get off the toilet and hang out.
And in the bathroom?
In the bathroom, just hang out.
Yeah, go sit on the counter.
Yeah, like poop, then get off, go sit on the counter.
Sit there, swing your feet,
right.
Surf Facebook.
Protest.
Take selfies.
And you're not even on the toilet when you're doing it.
You could do that, right? In the mirror and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's,
what do you think about the slope toilet? I don't like it.
I think it seems very...
I banish it from the kingdom.
It's totalitarian, for sure.
Yeah.
We will make you poop on the angled toilet, and you will like it very much. Yes, you will.
It's a dystopian toilet is what that is.
Yeah,
That's what it really is,
look,
isn't it?
if it had, like, I don't know if it did other things. And
Whoa.
we already seen the eye toilet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's other ways to do it than making it wholly uncomfortable for anybody to use. That's
Hey,
just
you
me.
want a comfortable toilet? You get one in your own home, pal.
That's right. You go home and shit.
Yeah, you go home. That's right. It'll be an hour. I'll be gone an hour. 30-minute poop, an hour to get back and forth through traffic. Or
That's
half
it,
an hour.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Bubba. That's an hour and 10 minutes. Do you got anything else we need to cover tonight? Kind of sad. It's lonely without having the peanuts from the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Comments from the peanut gallery. Peanuts from the comment
Peanuts
gallery.
from the comment gallery.
Damn it,
Tasty.
man. Yeah, need those peanuts from the comment gallery. Of course, we're talking about Mr. Devlin, but
Yes.
I hope he's having fun. Yeah,
He probably is.
Yeah,
He'll
geez,
probably watch this.
I had to take him to the airport. His flight left at 5 a.m. Oh, God.
Arg.
So he had to be there at 4, which means we had to leave at like fucking 3. It was like, oh, this is nuts. But he got in okay, and everything went well,
Good.
so he's having fun. So anyway, holidays coming up. We're going to try to record some more shows.
It's true.
Get some stuff out here while we'll make hay while the sun is shining, as they say. And then who knows what's coming up, man. So anyway, stay tuned.
A new year's coming up.
It is very rapidly.
2020.
The year of clear vision.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Yep, that's it.
That's the one. Yeah, we're gonna finally see through the
through the lies. See through the lies, man.
Perfect clarity. We're gonna see everything. Yeah.
Yep, everything. It's gonna be awesome. 2020.
All right, well then let's wrap up there, man.
All
That's
right.
good stuff. We'll have another show coming up here in a couple days, I think.
All right, take care.
So are you leaving me now?
Take care.
Yeah, so are you out of here? Thanks for listening, everybody. Check us out at www.noshitcast.com. That's KNOWSHITCAST.com. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Give us a share. We greatly appreciate it. Leave us a comment, and maybe we'll I don't know, hit you back. But thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you all next time. Bicycles. Hey, come back.